going to give you 3 reasons why you want to option the new 2025 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy Night Edition. And best black on black on black. The Calligraphy Night is unique to its trim. We got this last year, which gives us a 7-seat configuration, standard all-wheel drive, as well as a naturally aspirated V6. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons. I'm also going to throw in a problem that I have with the Calligraphy Night and compare this against the competition. Up front, this is the only trim besides the Calligraphy that you can get premium LED headlights, daytime runnings, accent lights, puddle lights, welcoming lights, and lights that's going to be on the side view mirror here, which is awesome because it really distinguishes which trim that you have. 8 inches of clearance is standard. The unique grille for the Calligraphy Night, it's going to have the glossy black as well as the emblem. Now, one of the questions that you have to ask is, should I wait and get the 26 version? It's going to be more boxy. They're going to have some updates in the interior. It's a refresh. But will it still have that naturally aspirated V6 3.8 liter with 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission? Because with every refresh that we have noticed, they are changing to a turbocharged variant, which is leaving only a few vehicles in class that can compete with this engine. When you go Calligraphy Night Edition, that also unlocks standard all-wheel drive configuration, which gives you 5,000 pounds of towing, so it's right on par with Honda, Toyota. But with Toyota, what are you getting? A turbocharged 4-cylinder. And then we have Nissan, which can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is the best in class, but this actually goes a little bit more further. It's almost at infinity spec with what you're getting in the interior of the vehicle, which that is a VC turbocharged 4-cylinder. Calligraphy Night gives us 20-inch wheels. This is unique to the trim. 18-inch wheels is standard, and we're getting blind spot view monitoring, which is not only blind spot, but it uses the camera because we have a 360-degree reverse camera. It will use the side view mirrors when you're using your indicators to show you the blind spot in the digital gauge reader, so you don't have to look off the road, as well as a heads-up display. So when you're going this trim, it's around 56 grand all in, but you're getting more safety features, more standard features, and unique trim pieces that are only on the Calligraphy Night, which takes me to the first reason why I would option this. You're under 60 grand, you're getting a lot of standard amenities, you have 8 inches of clearance, it still looks luxurious on the exterior, and it still keeps a sporty design because look how the side rockers flare out, as well as a digital rear view mirror, which the camera, it's tucked underneath the lower roof spoiler with a center LED light bar. Everything gets the glossy black as well as LED taillights. Now the con that I have is they did a good job kind of closing off that camera, but we have this windshield wiper here that they could have tucked underneath to kind of clean it up. The lower gets dual exhaust finishers that's housed on the same side, front and rear parking sensors, safety is taken care of, everyday use, and it's practical. You're getting 19 MPGs for the city, 24 MPGs for the highway. It may not sound like a lot, but when you're configuring an all-wheel drive configuration, it will start consuming about 1 to 3 MPGs more than the front wheel drive configuration. The big problem that I have with the Palisade for 25 is there isn't really a significant difference from the 24 variant, and we're getting a refresh for 26, which goes back to that same question, should you wait and get it? But then we don't know if we're going to be losing that naturally aspirated V6. Power liftgate going into 18 cubic feet of storage behind the third row seats. You're gonna have a lot of power adjustments to put down the third row and to fold down the captain's seats. 12-volt charger, you have some bag holders here on the side. Underneath the floor gets a ton of storage capacity. And to split the third row, push the buttons, they're going to electronically fold at a 60-40 split, increasing cargo to 45.8 cubic feet. The nice thing about the Palisade, opposed to everybody in its class, everything is in the trunk. So when you fold down everything flat to get that 86.4 cubic feet, you don't have to go into the back seat, and it's a naturally aspirated V6 with H-Track all-wheel drive. The key fob to the Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy Night Edition. One thing I'm going to show you first, I'm going to do the auto start stop, lock, hold the auto start stop. And this is going to be the smart parking feature, which you can move the vehicle forward or backwards by using the key fob. You could go about 10 to 15 feet away from the vehicle to do this, but realistically, it just helps you if you're trying to get in and out of a tight parking position. Maybe you're at a grocery store or you need to get it out of your one-car garage at your apartment complex or house. You could do so relatively easy with no one in the vehicle, and you can see it goes backwards and forward. It will also move the steering wheel so that way it doesn't hit any objects. Pretty cool feature. Going into 16-way power seat adjustment for the driver, ergo motion seats. This is premium Napa leather. 10-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, which is a con to me because I wish it had the 16-way power seat adjustment. Heated, ventilated front seats, memory for the driver. Now the 26 model is going to change the configuration, so it's still a one panel, but the two screen layout will be a little bit different. Let's fire it up. The Calligraphy Night Edition gets Harman Kardon upgraded sound system, a digital rear view mirror, microfiber headliner, ambient lighting, 2 moon roofs, air vents that's going to be throughout the interior of the ceiling, heads-up display, and 2 digital readers with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. This is a little quick wedge. You can see you could move it or you can use it depending on what you need out of this, as well as Hyundai Pay, Blue Link, put it into reverse, 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear, as well as being able to zoom in and zoom out, and a 3D camera, which you can go all around the vehicle, so you could do like a top view. You can also kind of zoom in a little bit. Try climate control settings, and this is an actual touchpad, which will be cleaned up. It's going to be more configured in here, so this dashboard in center cluster will be a major change. USB port 12 volt is going to be through the full pass-through. You have a huge area for storage. Push it open into a wireless charging pad and other USB ports. Push these 2 for cup holders. Open this up, and you got another USB 12 volt with a storage tray here. And this is going to be a little bit more firm for my liking. Heated leather wrap steering wheel. It's multi-function with the paddle shifts. The gauge cluster is a 12.3 digital reader. In order to change the layout, you have to go here, go into screen layout, and now you can change the whole design. So you have classic A, B, C, as well as changing the driving modes, which you have 5 total different driving modes in the vehicle, and the blind spot view monitoring, which is an awesome feature. I just love how safe it is. Kind of wish every vehicle was like that. Calligraphy Night also gets the piano black inserts for the wood inlays. Dashboard and door panel configure in together nicely. One touch up and down for all the windows. It's going to be a little bit more sporty, but you get that pattern design coming in with a smaller storage pocket, a beverage holder carved out. Headroom is more than enough, as well as leg space. And we still have physical buttons to utilize the infotainment screen. So one thing that will be cleaned up, the airplane look is not going to be anymore, but in the same aspect, I mean, let me know, would you prefer buttons or not? For the second row, this is the opening that you have to go inside. Manual sunshades, gonna have the same layout as the front with that wood inlays. 2 cup holders and another cup holder in the bottom, a large grab handle, captain seat configuration with 4-way manual seat adjustments. Third climate control, heated ventilated second row, home plug, 12 volt. There's no USB ports. Yeah, they're tucked right here in the seats with a storage compartment behind both of the front seats. And check out the headroom. More than enough, as well as leg space. Now you can adjust it forward where I wouldn't be able to fit too comfortably. You can adjust it backwards, as well as reclining these seats for that long journey. And this is the only vehicle in its class that has these contour headrests for the second row. Third row access, push the button here, it's going to adjust forward. It's not necessarily a ton of room for someone at 6'3", but it's doable to fit 3 more occupants in the back. Heated third row seats. They're also power recline seats. Now you're going to be able to fit 3, so we'll see how it is here in a second. Check out the leg space with it up more so it makes it easy for me. Cup holders on both sides, as well as USB ports. Headroom is okay. It's actually carved out for you, so as long as you sit back or use the power seat adjustment, you're not gonna have too many issues at 6'3". Sitting into the center though, it's gonna be a little bit more cramped, especially with leg space. And if you wanna stretch it out, you gotta be careful because they have sleeves of storage on both sides, just in case somebody puts their electronics. As for leg, butt, and shoulder space, it's actually not too bad, even though this bulges out. But if the seat were back in the position I'd be sitting, it would be a lot more cramped. Calligraphy Night Edition is going to start off with turn radius so you can see the 291 horsepower. It's about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. 262 pound-feet of torque. It pushes you back, a little bit more luxurious. The interior just boasts so much features for the price that you're at. Nobody in its class is giving you everything that you can get with the Palisade. And that's going to start with some pros and cons. We're going to start off with the pros, even though I said a lot of them. You're getting heated seats in all 3 rows. Ergo motion seat for the driver. The con is you don't get it in the passenger side. Ventilated seats for the first and second row. More charging ports than anybody in its class. Everything you can adjust in the cargo whenever you're wanting to maximize cargo capacity. You don't have to go into the back or adjust seats any other way, which is something else that pretty much no one in its class does. But then on the cons, you will start seeing some harder surfaces and some inexpensive materials that's going to be on the dash, on the center cluster, and where you rest your arms. They do mask it with some upscale amenities, but when you're at near 60 grand, you really want to start changing up the materials that you use in the interior. I like that we have buttons, but it does look like an airplane. I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it better we have it or not? Because with the refresh, more than likely it's going to be cleaned up and a lot more touch pads, but then we're going to also add more gloss black, which here we don't have that, so you don't have to worry about all the fingerprints going all over the vehicle. The steering wheel not being power telescopic, which is a huge problem for me because we're at a near 60 grand price. When you tack that on to any competition, you're going to start seeing that. And then we're dropping power seat adjustment for the passenger side. I would actually like to see power seat adjustment for the second row as well. I like that we have 5 different driving modes, all-wheel drive configuration standard with 3D view as well as a 360-degree reverse camera. One of the only vehicles in its class that has the blind spot view monitoring, which uses the cameras on the side view mirror. I mean, that's awesome because we have the digital rear view mirror, which already shows you around 180 to 160 degrees all around. And then when you use your indicators, you basically have absolutely no blind spots. And that's got to be the second reason why I would choose this over the competition, because you have all of that safety and it's more upscale than a standard SUV, going more towards luxury. Now going back to competition, Toyota has a Turbo 4. Third row is going to be tight. I am expecting the Palisade to grow a little bit in the interior, but even as it sits, you have plenty of room to fit everybody in each row comfortably. Going against Honda, that's going to be a very big challenger, but this is going to have a lot more soft amenities. It's going to be a lot more upscale. It does have a naturally aspirated V6 and it tows the same capacity. This is going to feel a little bit higher with the clearance, even though you're right at the same 8 inches. And the seat comfort will be better for the Palisade. As for Nissan, the third row is going to be about the same as this, but that's going to have the best towing capabilities in class. In Volkswagen, that's actually going to be the best in class for the third row occupants. So depending on what you need for space in the interior, this is going to capture pretty much everything for charging ports, usability, as well as that day in and day out use. The road noise does come in. We have 20-inch upgraded wheels. You don't feel too many in the imperfections through the drive, so I like that it's still comfortable. And it's a long, wide vehicle, but it doesn't actually stress that whenever you're driving it. So it is easy for maneuverability. The steering does have a little bit of weight to it, but I appreciate that. Taking me to the last reason why I would option this is we still have a naturally aspirated V8. 8-speed automatic transmission, no dual wet clutch automatic transmission. Yes, you can get the Santa Fe, which is just a little bit smaller than this, and it captures a ton of space and charging ports, but this goes a step above because you're getting a lot more luxury in the interior than that, and one of the best vehicles in class for its price. And the big problem that I have overall with the Palisade is I feel that they just don't give all of the features that they should give, meaning you're not getting the ergo motion seat for the passenger, you're not getting the extra power seat adjustment. Going into the second row, they're giving you the adjustable headrest, but you don't get that in the front. They just kind of mix and match things up, in which it would be nice if they just gave you full luxury features. I get it, we're under 60 grand, but in the same category, if you're going to option all these things, don't just scatter it out throughout the cabin of the interior. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Gettle Hyundai of Lakewood for giving us this 2025 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy Night Edition for our car review.